Nancy Grace is really gonna make a fool of herself here talking about weed.
But the talk in New York has sparked fierce debate over legalization, both medicinally and recreationally. HLN's Nancy Grace joins me live. And Nancy Grace, you know, let's just call this big picture. I'm curious, and in your reading and watching all of this last couple of days, do you think legalizing pot for recreational use, do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a horrible idea. And I speak not only after studying it and reading every shred of scientific and research data out there, but after seeing what it does to people on an everyday level.
How do you mean?
Having in court, when I would prosecute drug cases. Now, I understand that a recreational amount in Colorado, remember, there are only 2 states that allow recreational sale or possession of marijuana, that being Colorado and Washington State, and in Washington State it has not been implemented yet. But what I would see is that people would drop out of work, they would become lethargic. I mean, come on, ask yourself, do you want your cab driver to be high on pot?
But I think
your airplane pilot?
I think that's one issue. Hang on, but on the other side, I was talking to a tour operator. Obviously, he was thrilled at the legalization, recreationally speaking, in Colorado specifically, and he would argue, you know, listen, if you do it responsibly, you don't get behind the wheel. You do it in a private, confined space. You do it safely. No harm, no foul.
You mean a private space like your home where you're supposed to be taking care of your children, or cooking at a gas stove, or lighting a fireplace? You mean that place? Yeah, no, not a good idea.
Okay.
Look, I don't want, when I'm at work, I don't want my babysitter high on pot, all right? Does anybody? Do you want your children? Do you want your parents, your sister, your brother to be taken care of or driven around by somebody on pot because it's okay in Colorado? You know what? Colorado gets what they ask for.
I know people are screaming at the television, agreeing with you,
I'm sure.
and vehemently disagreeing with you.
Hey, look, the ones that are disagreeing are lethargic, sitting on the sofa eating chips.
Oh,
pot.
that is a blanket statement, Nancy Grace.
There.
Nancy Grace, let me move along. Let me move along from this. This is just your opinion. We wanted your opinion.
Fat and lazy, lethargic, sitting on the couch eating chips. Man, you nailed it. Which is exactly why somebody like myself, who works minimum 12 hours a day, doesn't smoke weed, doesn't enjoy weed. The few times I tried it, it made me paranoid. That's why I'm in favor of legalization. Because my working over 12 hours a day is lazy, sitting on the couch and eating chips. I mean, please, Nancy Grace. Every single thing she said there was like straight out of the Reefer Madness playbook, where like you fearmonger about marijuana and take all of these stereotypes and ascribe them to everybody. First of all, in my personal experience, if she wants to give personal anecdotes, that's anecdotal evidence. It doesn't hold up, right? But fine, you want to play that game? I can play it too, because my personal experience with people who smoke marijuana is the exact opposite. My anecdotal evidence is of people who are responsible, who recreationally use in their free time, not at work, not while driving or anything like that. They're perfectly productive members of society. You want another personal anecdote I have? I met a guy when I was in college, whose mother had cancer, and he used to live in California, and then he was in New York, and the only thing that would allow her to keep down her food was marijuana. Okay, she tried the pill form of marijuana that was legal beforehand, Marinol, didn't work. She would just throw up everything. It was the only thing that could make her tolerate her chemotherapy. So my anecdotal experience is the exact opposite. So if we're going to legislate based off of opinions, I guess it's a wash, and I guess we need to go to somebody else. But that's just the thing. You're not supposed to legislate based off of my personal opinions or her personal opinions. You're supposed to do it based on freedom. This is the United States of America. Even if everything she was saying was true, which it's not, okay? But even if it was true, that everybody who smokes weed is lazy and they're assholes or yada yada, well, that's none of your goddamn business, Nancy Grace. Because in the United States of America, it's not against the law to be an asshole. It's not against the law to be lazy. Just because you personally don't like it doesn't mean dick. I never understood people who just want to impose their opinions on other people. Okay, Nancy Grace, you don't like marijuana? Here's an idea. You don't smoke it. Doesn't mean you take it away from Bob down the street, who might like it for whatever reason. And also, I love her, just ridiculous straw man argument after straw man argument after straw man argument. She's like, well, would you want your babysitter being high? No, but if you legalize it for adults, that doesn't mean you legalize it at work. You could still have it illegal at work. Alcohol is legal for adults to drink in the U.S., but not at work. I mean, this is ridiculous. Do you want people driving while high? No, but I don't want people drunk while high either. Alcohol is perfectly legal, but you're not allowed to do it while you're behind the wheel. So all these exceptions we would carve out in the law. I mean, obviously, this isn't fucking rocket science.